All righty, it's time to get a little cooking for you here. We're going to do a soup for you today. Soup's still good, really, any time of the year, but especially during winter, right? But this soup's going to be a little on the light side of things. Nothing heavy, like a heavy whipping cream or half and half. Nothing like that, but a light soup, but full of flavor. Going to do you up a spicy lime avocado soup for today. So let's start with the ingredients. Already got some done here in my pot, which is basically 1 medium onion diced up and about 2 cloves of garlic, with some olive oil or avocado oil already inside my pan here, and let it saute there for probably about 5 minutes till they get a little soft, a little bit on the translucent side. Gonna have some chicken broth here. If you don't use chicken broth or you just happen to be out at the time, you can use, if you prefer, some chicken flavored bouillon cubes. Now you'll use about, I'd say one cube there to about 4 cups of water. And if you want a little saltier, a little more flavor, go for more. But that's another option you can go with. Chicken here, it is going to be boiled to 165 degrees, and then once it's all done, you then begin to shred it up. Other ingredients for you here. We're not going to mix it in, but we're going to kind of decorate on top here. This is some crumbled goat cheese. Now you can go with a queso, crumbled queso if you prefer, a Monterey Jack, a mild cheddar, any kind of cheese I think will work, but I think this goat cheese will give it a little more flavor here. Jalapenos, I have diced up fresh jalapenos. I've taken the membranes and the seeds out of them. You will still get a little bit of heat with that, but you'll also get really more so that good jalapeno flavor. And we're going to dice up another Roma tomato, but there's some Roma tomatoes here already. If jalapeno is a little too hot for you, another option you can go with, still a little on the warm side, but nonetheless still very good. You could actually use yourself up a poblano pepper. If you want to add more heat, you can find yourself a chili infused oil that you'll use there to saute your onion and garlic. I didn't do that. I just went ahead and used my avocado oil with it. Lime juice as well. We'll use fresh, but if you don't have it, this will work here. Green onion, cilantro. Okay, I know there's a lot going on here, right? But it's actually a really simple recipe. Let's talk about cutting things up first, right? That's going to be your biggest thing, is prepping to get everything here inside your pot. So you'll take your knife here, and what you'll do with your Roma tomato, you could use canned, but go with something fresh, right? Cut off the top there of that Roma tomato and kind of cut off the bottom of that Roma tomato too, and then just kind of put those off to the sides. You will not be needing those anymore. You'll take your Roma, cut it right down the center. Now inside your Roma, you have kind of a core, if you will, with then seeds on both sides. So what you can do is you'll take a smaller knife, maybe your paring knife, nothing that big, not necessary here, and you'll cut along the edge there, and then you'll kind of go under a little bit and meet halfway, and then go back the same direction. And what happens there is you pop out that core. Then you've got the seeds there in the middle, but with Romas, all you gotta do is scrape them, and they greatly just come right out. No big issues there. So the same thing on this side, and this is also why I don't recommend using any kind of big knife, because the way you're cutting this, you don't wanna cut yourself, right? And then you just kind of go back to your big knife, chop up there into your smaller chunks, kind of julienne cut it real quick, and then chop it up, and there you go. You've got your chopped up Roma. So we'll add those in here in just a second. So what we're going to do here is turn on your eye here on the oven, whatever you're cooking with there. We're going to go ahead and add in our chicken broth here. We're going to go with 4 cups of chicken broth, which is just 1 whole container. So begin to pour that in, and you want to go ahead and start this out on a high heat. You are going to want to, of course, heat things up, bring it to a boil, of course, so you can serve it hot. But of course, do this step after you have already sauteed your onions as well as that garlic. So bring this up now to a boil. We've got a high heat here, so good news there. Now we're going to start just adding in our other ingredients. So again, that jalapeno that's already diced up, go ahead, put that inside as well. Your Roma tomato that you've diced up, and I've got more here. We'll go ahead and throw in the Roma tomato. This is a dish that has a lot of color to it, but it's also a dish that you can really vary things up. If you want some celery in there, I think throwing some celery stalks in there could be a little more tasty. So what we'll do here is we're going to dice up this Roma tomato as we still wait to bring our pot there to a boil. So chop, 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 give it a couple, 3 chops, and there you go. It's a done deal. It's always great to have a great knife in the kitchen, because I tell you what, makes things a whole lot easier for you when you've got a really good sharp knife. Now the next thing we're going to throw in here is some lime juice. Now if you just have the concentrate, that's fine, go with it, but I would like to do some fresh lime in this. And we're actually going to use several limes here. I think in fact I'll probably throw in about 3 limes with this. Now when you chop up any kind of citrus like this, your lime, oranges, your lemons, what you can actually do, throw that in the microwave for maybe about 10 to maybe 15 seconds. You're going to get a whole lot more juice out of that lime, that citrus, once it's done. So we're going to put it in there. Look at all that juice that comes out. And that's just the juice without any kind of microwaving. Another lime going to go into the pot here. At least another half lime. We're going to squeeze that in. And this also may be a time when, depending on your size limes, how juicy they are, that as you're making this dish, you stir things, or you just throw it into the pot like I just did. You stir things up and get your tasting spoons out and sample it ever so often. Make sure you're getting the good flavor profile in there that you want to add. Now that we're getting things kind of wound down here, let's throw in those 2 chicken breasts that have already been boiled to 165 and shredded. Also here, we're going to go with our cilantro. And if you were with me earlier, you saw I was using my Mezzaluna device that really kind of chops things up. So what we'll do, we'll take the cilantro just like that with your big knife. But if you have a device like this, or if you want to grab one, they're really convenient because instead of going, chop, 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 chop with your knife, you actually just roll your Mezzaluna here on your chopping board, kind of back and forth, bring everything back together, just rock back and forth, rock back and forth. The only drawback sometimes to these, and it's happening right now, is you can see some of your herb kind of gets cut in there, or stuck in there, I should say. So I'm going to continue to chop this up, going to continue to bring that to a boil, get it warmed up, and going to ladle it out into a bowl, serve it to Ron, but again, very easy, maybe even serve it there with some tortilla chips. I'll stir this up, get it warm for Ron, not right after this break.